Yeah, so having seen the Star Wars movies and the E.T. movies, I was around to witness the phenomena that was those movies. And the madness was insane. It was absolutely crazy. But it was nothing like being involved with the Harry Potter franchise as the books were released. And we're not even talking about the movies. Movies have not even come into the conversation. Just the books.
Yeah.
And the way that they marketed the books, the way that they would, sell things. And I remember specifically there was at one point, I don't think I'm giving away any spoilers here. So
if they haven't seen them and they haven't read them, they're probably fucking not.
Yeah, they're probably not going to.
Too bad. I'm giving it away.
Yeah.
So when Dumbledore dies and everyone thinks that Snape has killed him, one of the marketing things,
Dude, you just gave away like the most important thing in the Harry Potter series.
One of the 19 people that watch this are reading the books and they're like, damn it, no!
I just saved them 8 months of their time by skipping the first 5-6 books.
There you go.
So I did them a fucking favor.
Yeah, you did.
So they should be thanking me instead of But when they did that, the material that they released in the build up to the 7th book, they had these little pamphlets that they would hand out, and they would put them in the most odd places. They would be in malls. They would be on street corners, and in certain countries they would be on newsstands and all sorts of different things, and they would be almost like bookmarks. And on one side it was orange and it said, "Is Snape a good person?" And it would have reasons why he might have done what he did and been good and did that. And then on the other side, the flip side, was purple, and it said, "Is Snape a bad man?" And it would give multiple reasons why he was an evil guy. So they're setting the tone for people's excitement, because you're arguably your second most popular character in the entire series.
Yeah, massively popular
has died, and the cliffhanger, so to speak. Sorry, but he's pushed off a building and
falls to his death.
Yeah. So
we're not talking about Snape. We're talking about Dumbledore, right?
Yeah. Dumbledore's dead. Yeah. So they end that with, him basically dead, and, assumingly Snape is a Death Eater, bad guy, works for Voldemort, all that. And the marketing, the way that they presented it, was genius.
Beautiful.
And they put months of work into it before the books came out, and they were putting all this merch out that was related to the books. And it was so much fun sitting there, taking part of it and just seeing it. And I wasn't the one that was the most interested in it, but I got to ride along that ride and be a part of it. And I can tell you there will be no replacing that. As there's nothing that can be top. That can't be top now. It's been done.
So speaking of Snape and emotions and around the show and regret, I know one human on this planet that definitely regrets the whole Harry Potter phenomenon and Snape specifically.
Yeah.
We all know who played the actor who played Snape, right?
Alan Rickman. Yeah.
Phenomenal actor, right?
Excellent actor.
And can you imagine anyone else in that role now?
Never,
right? But let's go back to whenever the first movie was made, 99 or whatever, 2000 maybe.
99, 2000.
Okay, so let's we don't know that it's going to be Alan Rickman, right?
Right.
The great Alan Rickman. Someone passed up the role of playing Snape because they wanted to take another role, and they said, I just don't see, I don't see that going to be a very big thing. I'd rather play in this well-established franchise. And I'll give you a hint. That franchise was Planet of the Apes.
Mark Wahlberg?
It was not.
Mark Wahlberg was going to play Snape?
I just said it was not. I just said...
This is some good bourbon, man.
The person they offered the job to play Snape, all you had to do was say yes. No? He played...
Was it Mark Wahlberg?
It was...
Tom Cruise?
is it Tim Roth? Tim Roth, Mr. Orange from Reservoir Dogs.
No kidding.
He went and played Cornelius in The General.
Yeah.
In Planet of the Apes instead. And I promise you, every day he wakes up and he's like, fuck.
And Tim Roth is
FML.
a fantastic actor.
Great actor.
So many good movies he's
What
been
has
in.
Tim Roth been in?
He was in Reservoir Dogs. He was in Planet of the Apes.
Four Rooms.
Four Rooms, yes.
There's a movie that he was in the early 80s. It was a movie about skinheads in England.
Correct.
I forget the name of it, but it's very gritty. It's
I know the movie you're talking about.
Phenomenal.
He's in Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
He's Doomsday in the Marvel movies. Yeah, great actor. Great.
Awesome actor.
And you know what? The funny thing is we look at that now and we're like, no way, can't be Snape.
Yeah.
But if that would have been him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's him. If he
looking
would
him
have
up.
played Snape from day one and we never saw Alan Rickman,
Right.
I promise you, I know people are going to crucify me for this. Everyone's just as happy. No one would know. We would never pick him over Alan Rickman now.
Right.
But if he played him for day one and this roles are reversed, we'd be like, no way Alan Rickman could be him. That's Tim Roth's role. It's just weird to think of.
But Alan Rickman now and forevermore will be only Snape.
That's it. That's his role.
And that's the crazy thing about the popularity of it was he was defined as an actor and very well respected and an A-lister before
Well-established
he got involved
actor.
in that. And to take someone like that who has done so many other good quality films, it's almost like erasing your past of quality in the eyes of the public, and now you've just become immortalized as one character. And there's
100%.
danger with that with some actors, because when you get typecast, they always talk about, I want to expand my horizons as an actor, but if you try to take The Rock, for example, and put him in a dramatic role, a legitimate dramatic role, let's say Paul Thomas Anderson, which took Adam Sandler and somehow made Adam Sandler at the time with Punch Drunk Love, absolutely stunning movie. While Adam Sandler still being Adam Sandler was incredible. So take someone of the status like Paul Thomas Anderson and take The Rock and try to turn The Rock into a serious actor with that kind of chops. You can't do it.
You know what's funny? I've noticed this real quick, a little off topic from the Harry Potter thing. You're 100% correct. Action stars seem incapable of doing that.
Yeah.
Comedians, out of all the people that you would think, right? Comedians, you're like, no, they're just the funny slapstick guys. They're not real actors. Robin Williams has done it. I watched not only Punch Drunk Love, he did an Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler did it. I've watched repeatedly. Photo Room was
1 hour
Robin
photo.
Williams. 1 hour photo. Is that it?
Fantastic. Love that movie. Love it.
Jim Carrey in I can't remember the name.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, my favorite movie of all time.
He also and he did the 23 or whatever the number one was.
The number 23 or 28.
These comedians,
Show.
Truman Show. These comedians can play these massively emotional roles where you're so invested in characters. Those action star guys, they can't do it. They cannot do it.
There's something that comes from the world of comedy, and it's gone back all the way to the days of when Lenny Bruce and Dick Gregory, the black comedian who became a civil rights activist, who I actually ran into in the Tampa airport once, and just bumped into him in the bookstore and blew my mind because I knew who he was and I was well aware of him, and he just said hi to me, and I just with eyes as big as saucers and looking at, oh my God, it's Dick Gregory. And this was at a time where he was kind of out of the spotlight, but I was really in the know at it. So it was one of the coolest people I've ever seen, let alone meet. But going all the way back to the 50s and 60s with comedy, once you got away from the I Love Lucy type of stuff, a lot of those comedians were damaged. And the way that they covered that damage was by
humor.
the humor.
Yeah. Yes.
And you talk about Lenny Bruce. Lenny Bruce went to jail multiple times because of obscenity charges and, saying what he felt was his legal right to say. And at that time, they basically said no. So he gets stressed. He starts a habit, shoots up, and eventually dies on its bathroom floor. And then, to add insult to injury, the federal government comes along later on and dismisses all charges against him.
Of course, yeah.
Posthumously. And that's the type of thing that comedians, the way they translate, is because there's something in them that covers that sadness, that's something that's missing in their life. And I always go to George Carlin because he's my favorite by a mile. And, I've read biographies. I've listened to him talk about his personal life. I've gone and done things and viewed things that were as far away from his comedy routines as they could get. And deep down inside, there's damage. And there was problems. And
well, like you said, they hide it with that humor.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes them so funny.
Yes. And when you can turn that kind of pain, hurt, whatever, when you can make it funny, and then most of the time they would go backstage and they would be miserable again. But for that hour and a half, they sat out there, they were hilarious. And that's why I think the transition that comedians, like what we were talking about, can do dramatic roles, because that's in them. They just have chosen a path that they can also do well, like comedy. Whereas someone like The Rock or Vin Diesel or whomever, Musclehead, unless it's a rare exception, you will never see anyone pack an emotional depth that a comedian can do in a dramatic role. It's just not possible because they don't have the DNA or what goes on in this to do it. And that's, and a fun fact, just since we're on George Carlin and Lenny Bruce, one of my favorite stories is when Lenny Bruce was doing a routine in New York, George Carlin was one of the opening acts. He was young. And it was right when the feds were coming in and busting the act because of obscenities. Apparently, George Carlin and Lenny Bruce got handcuffed together and rode to the police station, handcuffed, arrested together. And you think about the history of that and the significance of those two names within humor.
Oh, yeah.
And you think George Carlin and Lenny Bruce handcuffed together in a paddy wagon being taken to the police station. And it's like you could take any historic combo of famous people, and to me, you could put them in the same situation. So you could take Abe Lincoln and whomever and put him in a handcuff and put him in a paddy wagon next to whomever, and it still wouldn't be as amazing as the fact that George Carlin and Lenny Bruce, the two most influential comedians, by a mile. And
George Carlin's my favorite.
No disrespect to Richard Pryor, who
actually
is absolutely
brilliant,
stunning, funny, but he didn't have the same pain. His pain was a different pain, and he translated it differently, but it was still there. And that's why when you saw those movies that he did with Gene Wilder.
All right, we are back.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties again.
Again.
All right, so I do have a quick question. I'm going to bring it full circle.
Sure.
Okay, back to Harry Potter. I just want your guys' opinion on this.
Yep.
It has been confirmed. I believe it's HBO.
Right.
Is going to be doing a series.
Okay.
Not prequel, it's going to be remaking the Harry Potter story, and I believe from what I've read that every school year is going to be one season. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I want to start with Shane, and then we'll go to Neal. Knowing the narrative of where cinema is currently in today's state, I just want to make one statement, and then you tell me what you think. And this might get us canceled, but I guarantee you Dumbledore will not be in the form he's in now.
Agreed.
I can almost guarantee for no reason at all.
And we all know
what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guarantee it. I will take bets.
So the thing I'll say is this.
Go ahead.
It is clearly about making money.
Yep.
And service to the story is clearly it's not going to be within the. It's not going to be the primary.
Do you think it will be
goal.
good?
No. No,
That's it.
I don't think it'll be good.
Okay.
I think the quality of the product will be horrible, but I think the popularity of the content will be off the chart. I think because of the name Harry Potter, because it still carries that power. And look, even the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies, in my opinion, were awesome. I love them. And they didn't get a lot of respect, and I think that's kind of unfair.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if this is true, this new Harry Potter thing, content-wise, quality-wise, it's going to suck. But it's probably going to be one of the most popular things in the history of TV. It'll be like True Detective plus Game of Thrones plus Breaking Bad plus, Always Sunny in Philadelphia plus any other popular show combined, because it's a brand new audience and it will be updated accordingly.
What gives me hope is I know there's going to be a lot of changes that aren't going to make any sense at all. Right. We're going to be like, why? Right. Dear God, why? The only thing that gives me hope is that I do think this is their chance to continue what we just said earlier. They're not going to do it and they're going to fail, but this is their chance. Look how old we all are now.
Yeah.
This is going to be on HBO. They are not making a program for children. I think this is going to be geared towards more adultish, and they have an opportunity here to give you the darker side of Harry Potter.
That is an interesting perspective and side and thought. How deep you go with that ultimately is the question. Because in the end, the whole Harry Potter thing was about good, friendship, loyalty, treating each other kindly, regard, all that. So to show it from the other perspective, it would almost be like when Disney does the villains side.
The villain side, right?
Which I think they completely blew, because I think that they had a real opportunity to do some really good stuff with villains and backstories, and they just screwed it up. So if you take the Harry Potter stuff and you focus on more of the darker stuff, and you're in Voldemort's lair more than you're in Harry's classrooms, potential.
Give us that dark side of the characters. And I agree with you on the villain thing. Villains, the reason people like villains so much is because we were talking about the pain of comedians. Give us the pain of villains.
Yeah.
Make it so that a bad guy is not bad 24/7.
Right.
He wakes up just like we do. He goes to bed just like we do. Give us that human side. Because I heard this somewhere. The only difference between a villain and a hero, right? The world's affected them both. They both had massive trauma. It's the reaction to it. The hero says, I'm not going to let this happen to anyone else. And the villain says, I'm going to make them pay. Or I'm going to get retribution. It's how they respond to the tragedy that's been fallen upon them.
And that's the quality of the writing of the person that creates the story. And ultimately, this Snape character is the deepest backstory with the most content, with the most conflict, with the most character.
Yes.
That's why he is so beloved, because of everything that goes on within his existence. So if you were to just make a series and follow Snape from birth till whenever, now that would be absolutely incredible, because they touch on it through all the books and films, but there's so much potential to go with more depth. And if they were to do that, I would have high hopes. But I see modern trends getting in the way of pre-existing literary patterns.
I agree with you. I judge the content of movies and literature. When you see a villain, I can look at him and be like, I don't agree with what he's doing, but I get it.
Yeah.
If you can make me say that about a villain, right? Like, I get it. That's good writing.
Yeah.
Because when you see a bad guy and you're just like, I'm going to destroy the world, ha 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 ha, you're just like, what, dude? And every single thing he does is villainous. That's not how they are. So I'm interested, and HBO has done a really good job of making us love bastards. So I want to see if they can convert that into this Harry Potter. I know it's going to be, I almost got us canceled. I know it's not going to be great, but that's my last piece on it.
That's why every good villain in film is what it is, because they were written as a good villain in literature.
Yes.
If it weren't that way, it doesn't exist. It has to be written as a good villain in literature to translate into film. That's the only way that it works. You go back to the history of cinema and movies and so on, and that's how it is.
Make us love the bad guy.
Yeah.
And you will have a great story.
100% agree.
Yep.
So wrapping things up.
Yeah.
Neal, I'd like to ask you just a few questions.
Yes.
About some different things. So, do you know anything about Rick and Morty?
Nothing, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, listen.
Shane's gonna watch
completely
6
identify
episodes
with
of it, so he'll let
About
you
3.
know.
Well, you can watch 6 and then not tell me a thing about them.
So, what do you think about the Blink 182?
Worst band with the exception of Green Day in the last 25 years.
What about the Gin Blossoms?
Wait. Real quick, I want to say one thing about Blink 182. I thought for about 15 years that song, Please Tell Me Why. I thought that was Blink 182 for like 15 or 20 years.
Their influence on music, them and Green Day, has been so negative in the long term of things.
I wouldn't say negative. I would say that they really infused punk music.
No.
Into kind of like the monster into the mainstream.
Because if you take
pop culture,
if you take Discharge, if you take Black Flag, if you take the Circle Jerks, if you take the Exploited, if you take the legitimate punk bands from back in the day, there was authentic hostility, anger, and reason behind being that. Thirsty and Miserable. That was a song and it was a lifestyle. Pop punk, Green Day have never been unhappy. They've been blessed with a time where someone else set a path and made music that they could copy with a cute face and a nice little sound and a lot of innocent ears who don't take the time to listen. Who, by the way, are the same people who don't understand jazz. And that's a whole nother topic. But
have you ever seen the "Feeling It" music video by Blink 182?
No, but I've seen the video
Because
for Soundgarden for Jesus Christ Pose.
Well, they're quite angry in the music video for "Feeling It."
Oh, I'm sure throwing tomatoes at each other is a very hostile thing to do to each other.
And then, what about the Gin Blossoms?
Well, you put me on the spot, and I'll say this: they had a self-released album before New Miserable Experience, and it was raw, and it was actually enjoyable, and it had half the songs on it were not on New Miserable Experience. It was better when they were not a popular band. It's the one thing I'll say about them that I can't criticize. I liked that first unreleased album.
What the hell is Dinosaur Jr.?
Well, let's finish off by you talking to us about Dinosaur Jr. They're a little known band. Not a whole lot of people know about them, and they're kind of like up and coming. And Neal, I think you've seen them in concert before.
I have seen them over a dozen times. They are one of the most influential alt rock bands in the history of alternative radio, from music from the 80s, 90s, and currently. Jay Mascis, the guitarist, is one of the most impressive guitarists to ever pick up an instrument, who can also play drums as well as he plays guitar. And the quality of their live show is stunning. The noise, the loudness, the depth. I have made it a purpose in my life to go deaf by listening to them live. My ears ring for a week after I see them.
Shane wrote here that Dinosaur Jr. is the Johnny Depp of music.
Well, what Johnny Depp is to movies, Dinosaur Jr. is kind of to music. And the question that I've got is, I
see where this is going.
So personally, I don't know. I don't really know any of Dinosaur Jr.'s songs except for one. So did you ever see the Super Mario movie from the 80s?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so do you remember the song that's on the soundtrack? It's like it goes something like it's talking about dinosaurs. It's saying everybody get on the floor, everybody do the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's Dinosaur Jr., right?
Dinosaur Jr. Is that no?
Repulsion, Tar Pit, Raisins, You're Living All Over Me, Little Fury Things, In a Jar, Green Mind. Where You Been, Feel the Pain, which is the video that you're talking about, the song you're talking about.
They did that song then from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Sure, why not?
Yes.
I could go on for hours. Tar Pits, Raisins, Sludge Feast, the heaviest song.
They've been around since the 80s,
early 80s, and they still kick as much ass as they did 30 years ago. Loudest band in the world, best show in the world. Is my mission in life to go deaf by seeing them. And by the way, I'm seeing them next month again up in Louisville.
Really?
Yeah. So I won't be hearing a lot after the end of July.
Well, here. Final thing. Nico,
sure.
Nico, what is your favorite band?
Of all time?
Of all time.
If I had to pick pure consistency of music,
okay.
So like I'm putting something on the radio and I'm going to listen through all their songs because I'm a big blues guy. I like blues music. Right. But if I'm picking consistency, I'm riding down the road, just let it play. I'm not changing songs. I'm going with the Eagles.
And that's
who are you going with?
And the Eagles, listen, the Eagles are excellent.
Who are you going with?
So I'm a really big fan of like bands that are more recent. Silver Sage. But I would
that's your cousin's band.
Yes, yeah, but
nice insert.
Yeah, but nice but the thing I guess what I have to say is Dynasty Young Sticks.
No. That's not even the better Sticks.
And
Shaw's the better Sticks. What do you pick the shittier Sticks?
No, Dynasty Young is the best Sticks.
You picked the shittier Sticks.
No, and then I would also say that is at par.
Kilroy was not here, by the way.
Yeah. So I would say Dynasty Young Sticks.
Tommy Shaw Sticks.
No. Well, Dynasty Young Sticks and then Tommy Shaw Sticks is down below.
Flip it.
But then at a tie, I would say is Rob Thomas and Matchbox 20.
Get the fuck out of here.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Matchbox 20.
If I'm on a long road trip and I only have one band's discography to play,
Matchbox 20.
No, I pick the Doors from their very first album to L.A. Woman.
Okay.
6-7 albums in between. That's if I only have one choice and I'm driving cross country, it's the Doors. I play all their albums. If that's the one band, the one that I can listen to without skipping a track or being bored of it when it comes around again. So,
all right, so we're all in the classic rock kind of.
Do you like the band America?
When they don't sound too much like Neil Young, yeah, there's some good stuff.
Or when Neil Young doesn't sound like them.
That is what you call taunting someone to get a response.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go on record. Pink Floyd, overrated. Just throwing that out there.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
This podcast is over. Not only is the podcast over, the friendship is over. So the years of happiness and celebration are done. Every memory that I've ever shared with you has now gone into the toilet, and it's been flushed along with that big sewer rat that Shane found in Taiwan or wherever.
No, I don't even want that on video.
The steroid filled. You're talking about the steroid filled rat from the Argentine farmers market.
That rat, in your opinion, and you can go down the toilet together.
Pink Floyd, phenomenal band. I just wanted to end on a
By the way,
phenomenally overrated.
I am the only person in this room who has seen Pink Floyd live. I know I'm old, but I saw them in 1994 in Tampa Stadium with my father during the Division Bell tour. And to this day, it is the greatest relationship moment I have ever had with my father.
Nice.
To this day. We still talk about it like it was yesterday. It'll be the topic of conversation till the end. But I saw Pink Floyd. They didn't. They saw Blink 182.
No, I saw Styx with my dad in concert, and actually that was a great moment with us too.
Yeah,
Styx is incredible live.
But you've only seen Tommy Shaw Styx.
You haven't seen Dynasty Young.
I have. Yeah, you've never seen Dynasty Young Styx.
I have seen Dynasty Young in person, just himself in person, and it was amazing.
Maybe walking down the road with his voice that's gave out because he can't sing anymore.
He can still sing very, very well. And listen,
what band is he part of?
He goes on his own.
Oh, his own stuff. Yeah.
Equinox, The Grand Illusion, Paradise. Was it Paradise Hotel?
Theater. You're talking about that song, "Rockin' the Paradise."
The Grand Illusion.
Yeah.
Phenomenal albums. Mm-hmm. Everything in the 80s, garbage. But there was a point where Styx had 4 or 5 albums that are absolutely top 10 bangers all the way through and through.
Dude, I'm not even going to say that. Tommy Shaw probably can't even write music for shit. It's his vocals that are better.
Well, the thing is, Dynasty Young is better vocally, and he's also better at writing music than Tommy Shaw.
Tommy Shaw's like 5 foot even, and he towers over Dynasty Young with talent.
Dude, it doesn't matter.
Does it matter that I've actually bumped into Dynasty Young in person at Disney World once? And I've told you this story. I actually ran into him at the Magic Kingdom when he was performing and backed into him accidentally and turned around and said, "Oh, hi, Dynasty Young." And he said, "Hello," and kept walking.
Well, I had a similar one where I ran into Dynasty Young and he was like, "Oh, you want my autograph?" I was like, "No, thanks." And I walked right away from him. Because Tommy Shaw is whose autograph I wanted.
The definitive reasoning for Tommy Shaw being better.
But
so you like Angry Young Man.
Dude, Tommy Shaw, because
he is an angry young man.
No, I'm not an angry young man. Tommy Shaw,
you're an angry man. You're not a young
performer. He has the long, glorious blonde hair, gray hair now. He's like
not gray, but blonde.
Dude, Dynasty Young's just not great. Even your mom settled this argument for us.
Dynasty Young is amazing.
Your mom, who turned you on to Styx, even said Tommy Shaw was better. And I'm pretty sure my mom probably slept with Tommy Shaw. I don't know for sure. I probably should have said that on this podcast.
That was some really good whiskey.
I would have slept with Tommy Shaw had I given the opportunity to get to Dynasty Young.
Yeah, Tommy Shaw's the man, dude.
They're both equally good in their own right.
But Tommy Shaw's a little better. Yeah.
Depending on the song.
No, Dynasty Young is better than Tommy Shaw. But this is the thing. That does not make Tommy Shaw bad.
It doesn't make Dynasty Young bad.
Right, it doesn't make either one of them bad, but Dynasty Young is better, and we can both agree on that.
Angry Young Man or Come Sail Away?
Come Sail Away every single day of the year.
Really?
Come Sail Away.
You guys aren't fans. You guys are bandwagoners.
Come Sail Away.
Bandwagon.
For
sure. And Come Sail Away was Dynasty Young?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Who sings it better?
Dynasty Young.
We can
Thank you.
We can all agree that Equinox is their best album, right?
What songs are on Equinox?
Lorelei, Lighten Up.
Who did Lorelei? Was that Dynasty Young or Tommy Shaw?
Yeah, Dynasty Young.
See? Bingo. See?
I've already admitted, Neal, and you heard me, and it's recorded.
That Dynasty Young is a better writer and singer.
I said
and
he probably writes better songs.
That.
I said, but when I'm going on when I have to watch one of those little fuckers dance around the stage and sing, you know who I want it to be?
It's
Tommy
Dennis
Shaw.
DeYoung. Yes.
Tommy Shaw.
Dennis DeYoung.
Tommy Shaw's like fucking 70, and he's still breaking it down.
Because he can pick up a guitar and also play it while he
Dennis
sings.
DeYoung,
the
dude,
difference.
he looks like he's fucking doing Mr. Roboto. The guy can't even.
No, dude.
He's just.
Dude,
He makes
listen.
Dick Van Dyke look healthy.
Yeah,
No.
dude, get out of here.
No, listen.
Is Dennis DeYoung even alive?
Yes.
alive. He's
And in fact, I saw Dennis DeYoung in concert like 4 years ago, I think.
Where'd you get the Strawberry Festival?
No, asshole. No, I saw him in concert at the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot.
So you were drunker than shit and had no perspective that was
Those
legit.
tickets are excellent.
Free. They're free.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I saw Tommy Shaw for free at Universal Mardi Gras.
No, they get paid big bucks to go to Universal.
They get paid big bucks to go to Disney too.
They fucking don't, dude. I saw Georgia Satellite there. You can only name one song. Get out of here, dude.
We both saw Georgia Satellite there.
I saw Jefferson Starship at the fucking Disney World.
Yeah,
for my
dude.
sake. So,
Dude, no,
but,
stop it.
Hey, but Living Color go to Disney every year, and Living Color are one of my absolute favorite rock bands of all time. In my opinion, one of the most underrated rock bands that have ever put out music.
And you see the reason
Everything they've done is amazing.
And you see, the reason Neal is saying that is to say that they're better than Tommy Shaw, but they're not better than Dennis DeYoung.
Get out of here, dude. I'm done. You know what? I can't make you be right. So we'll just settle on that, okay?
No, because the thing is, I'm just inherently right.
No, never. Not
And
once.
you're inherently wrong in comparison to me being inherently right.
So, what
You're-
about the other guy from Styx who occasionally sang?
I don't think anybody really cares about him, do they?
No one knows his name.
That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
like
It's like the cat guy from Kiss. No one knows who that is.
Peter Criss.
Oh, one person knows who that is.
I fucking hate Kiss too, by the way. Absolutely hate them.
It's like, dude, have you ever been to a Kiss concert? No one but chicks dress up as the cat guy.
Yeah.
No guy is dressing up
I've
as
never
him.
been to a Kiss concert before.
Either
ever.
have
You
I,
should.
but I've seen them.
You never should. Don't do it. Never do it. Don't do that to yourself.
Well,
Now, there was a rumor that Johnny Depp is a lead singer of a band. Have you ever heard that?
No, he filled in.
Here we go.
For what band though?
The Rolling Stones. Their guitarist got hurt.
He's that good that he fills in for the lead
He
singer
doesn't.
of the Rolling
No, he does
Rolling
not
Stones?
sing. He doesn't sing. Their guitarist got hurt, and he toured with him for like 6 months.
All I have to say in response to that is, the next time you see Johnny Depp smile, pay attention to his teeth. That's all I have to say.
Meth.
He's living the lifestyle of a vagabond. His teeth have rotted. He looks...
I think he does do like hard drug.
Probably.
Or used to.
He's a shitty actor and he's a shittier musician.
You don't like his acting?
I fucking hate him. I'll tell you the one funny thing, though. That movie Dead Man that the director Jim Jarmusch did. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite movies of all time, and Johnny Depp is the lead character in it. And it pains me in places that it shouldn't hurt.
All right.
I admit that.
Take all the modern stuff out of it because I know you hate a lot of this.
Absolutely.
The cash grab garbage.
It's
stuff.
What about
go to like movies like
Who's Eating Gilbert Grape?
No, Donnie Brasco. You didn't like him in that?
It was average.
Crybaby? Edward Scissorhands?
Not a fan of Edward.
Who's
Scissorhands.
Eating Gilbert Grape?
Hate that movie.
The movie
Why?
sucks. Why would you pick that? Dude, don't help me. The fuck was that?
Well, listen. So the thing is, that movie was a tragedy because that big woman
Stop
died.
there. The movie was a tragedy.
Well, listen. The thing is that obese woman died in that house fire.
Well, isn't that a shame?
It wasn't a house fire. She just died because her heart gave out.
But she died. She was consumed by fire, and Johnny
No,
Depp was in that movie. So that means that Johnny Depp is a
There
great
was
actor.
no fire. You just
That
made
means
that
that
up.
Johnny Depp set the fire to kill the fat woman in the house. He's a murderer.
well,
Astronaut's wife.
I do like that movie, but it's not because of him. That's a good story.
It is.
And that movie gets kind of shit on a lot. And I will admittedly
Public Enemy number one.
All right, and Neal, would you?
Good movie.
All right, Neal, would you agree?
Supporting cast helps.
Take out all his massive. Okay, take who's his husband that owns him? Tim Burton. Take all the Tim Burton shit out.
Oh.
Okay.
And take Johnny Depp on those other acting roles, and take the Pirates of the Caribbean out. Okay, so
Absolutely.
we're taking out some massive cinema in the
huge
last
chunk
20
of
years
it,
that
yes.
everyone loves him for.
Are you including Wonka in this, or
That's Tim
not
Burton.
including Wonka?
We're taking all Tim
Oh,
Burton
okay.
and we're taking Jack Sparrow and we're throwing them aside.
Thank fucking Christ.
Right? Which we were talking about actors. He will. You say Johnny Depp, he's Captain Jack Sparrow. I don't care what, and he's played
From
other
this
roles.
point forward, yeah, that's him.
When in 20, 30, 40 years, he will be Captain Jack Sparrow.
That's what it'll be known as. Yeah.
Real quick, off side note, the only person that surprisingly did not get consumed by one of the biggest roles ever, and he played two of them. And no one says, well, he's this guy or the other guy. He's just fucking both because he's that good. Or at least he picked the right roles. I wouldn't even say he's a great actor. I know I might get crucified. Harrison Ford, he's not Han Solo or Indiana Jones. He's both.
Might I add, while we're on that subject, I am the biggest nerd for Indiana Jones on Earth. I don't care what people said about the most recent one.
Yeah.
I loved it. I have not been inside a movie theater since 2012. The last film
Crystal
I
Skull?
saw in a movie theater was The Master, Paul Thomas Anderson, which is my other favorite movie. So, my next theater adventure, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to get tolerant and patient and take lots of medicine. And I'm going to go to the opening of the Indiana Jones that's coming out because you will not find a bigger, truer fan than I.
Yep.
Well, okay,
All the way.
so this next Indiana Jones, does it have Shia LaBeouf in it?
I think he's dead. I think they talk about it in the commercial.
He
he's
died?
dead. They don't show it, but I think this is about maybe it's his daughter or it's Indy's daughter.
Okay.
He's not going to be in it.
It's
I
going to
know
be
that.
fun to come back in a year after that movie has been on the market and analyzed and look at speculation like this and see where were we at, where were we wrong,
Okay, so the Indiana Jones movies,
Yeah.
rank them from best to worst. Nico? You want to start us?
Okay, so two is
Temple of Doom is 2.
Temple of Doom is 2. I'm gonna go 2, 1, 3, 4.
That's worst to best?
No, best to worst.
Best
I'm
to
sorry,
worst,
I
okay.
misunderstood you.
Okay.
I'm going best to worst. I'm going 2, 1, 3, 4.
Okay.
So my favorite order, first best, my favorite, Raiders of the Lost Ark. My second favorite, Last Crusade. Third, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And fourth is, the one with the second one, whatever the hell.
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. Hate Temple of Doom. Absolutely
my
hate
favorite.
it.
So-
Fucking hate it.
So mine is
Which
actually
is actually a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that either.
In chronological order, Temple of Doom is actually the first Indiana Jones movie.
Really?
Yeah, there's secret little subtle hints that give it away. If you watch it next time, check for them in the first 20 minutes, and they're there. It's the very first movie. Then Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a fun little fact that I always loved about it.
My order would have to be very similar to yours. Raiders of the Lost Ark first, Last Crusade 2nd. But then I would have to say Temple of Doom third, and then the fourth one for me would be the Crystal Skull.
I loved Crystal Skull. I am biased. I know Shia LaBeouf and him hanging off of that tree and doing that thing with the snake was utterly embarrassing.
Well, he is a
But-
really good actor. Listen, Neal, I'll give you that. The Shia LaBeouf is an excellent actor.
I am completely prejudiced with Indiana Jones. It could be Indiana Jones sitting on the toilet for 2 hours having a constipation problem, and I would watch it and consider it the
Did you ever
best
watch
movie.
this show?
Loved it.
Okay.
Young Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the Young Jones.
I own every DVD of it. Absolutely obsessed with it.
That's a show that I've never seen.
You haven't seen
phenomenal.
any shows besides Chuck.
Well, and that was objectively an excellent show.
I actually have an Indiana Jones journal. That's a replica journal that I was gifted.
I saw
years
those,
ago.
yeah.
But this is
every 40.
Oh, it cut.
No, there we
All right, so I guess we're going to start wrapping stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Cool Hand Luke said, standing here in the rain, talking to myself.
Talking to myself, baby.
All right, Nico, do you have any final?
No, this is a fun podcast. Neal, thanks for joining us, man. It
My
was
pleasure,
an
guys.
absolute pleasure.
Had an absolute blast.
Yeah, next time you're in town, we'll have to do it again.
You betcha.
Maybe
Deal.
we
Done.
can go up to Kentucky and do it. Who knows?
That would be
We'll do the
amazing.
Bourbon Trail.
Well, we just have to make
Yeah.
sure that we're not having any technical difficulties at that time.
We could use my Wi-Fi.
Well, maybe that'll work.
Yeah, possibly.
All right. Well, I had a blast, and next time we'll do this again. Maybe in Kentucky next time. Who
Yeah,
knows?
There we go, gentlemen. Beautiful podcast, guys.
It was
Love you
great.
guys.
They're
Had a
throwing
great
a party
time.
and you're not invited. Good night.
And Dennis DeYoung is the best.
Tommy Shaw. Tommy Shaw, goodbye.